10 seconds.
Welcome to Conversations from Stritch. Today is Thursday, March 27th. I'm Dr. David Livingston, president of Lewis University, and I'm joined by Dr. Christopher Sint, our provost. It's been another busy week at Lewis. Last night, we both went to the Flyer Red Dinner. It was a great event, a celebration of some of Lewis's most distinguished athletes, coaches, and teams. It was actually a night filled with both kind of moving stories about the past, inspiring stories about accomplishments, and also some incredibly funny moments. So I think, people laughed. There were some people who shed some tears, and there were people that I think walked out of there amazed at how much Lewis has done over the years. One of the things that we really celebrated last night was the 50th anniversary of women's athletics. So there were some great moments in which we were honoring women who have made a significant difference in Flyer athletics, but also really great video montage of some of the athletes from the past. And I loved seeing some people that I've gotten to know here at Lewis when they were playing basketball or running or playing softball. And I haven't seen their pictures of when they were 20. I only know them in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. So it was very fun. This week's community hour featured a thrift and art fair, an introduction to opera, collaborative practice community health fair, and a seminar on the contemporary national security strategies of Russia. I wish I would have been able to go to that. I think it's, I'm telling you, this geopolitical stuff, which I find fascinating, is just constantly up in the air. Today is Lewis University's Day of Giving. We've been looking forward to this all year since we wrapped up last year. For 24 hours, the campus unites to bring school spirit and generosity to over 25 funds on campus. Now, we try to raise it for these different funds. They all have targets. We're trying to raise $100,000. So again, on average, about $4,000 for each fund. Some are a little more. Some are a little less. They represent scholarships, they represent student life, the experience of our students, the experience of our faculty. The theme this year is Let's Turn Up the Volume, which is a nod to the collective power of social giving, to Flyer pride, and with a little bit of music flair. To make a donation, you can go to www.givecampus.com/MHFLY2, but we will show that later today. When we left, and this was about 15 minutes ago, in the sunroom, the number we're at, remember we're at a $100,000 goal. We were at $59,442, so we still have about 40 grand to go. But we're really excited. If you want to stop over later today, there will be some pizza, some great cookies from Crumbles Cookies. We're really grateful to both Fat Ricky's and Crumbles Cookies. We have a couple other PepsiCo and a couple others. I'm trying to think, there's one more, I'll remember it later, who is donating to us, and we're really grateful for the donations. Tonight is the Sapaniak Lecture. It's a spring lecture that we have every year. Lecture will take place at 7 p.m. in the university dining room. It features historian Ann Durkin Keating. Professor Keating works as a professor at North Central, and she'll present another 25 years at Hull House, Jane Addams Planning and Housing Reform. So a lot going on this week. We'll get to other activities, both athletically and co-curricularly, later in my comments. But Chris, you have a lot of accolades to give out, which we always do every year, because our faculty and staff are amazing in terms of what they accomplish.
Yeah, there's a lot to mention. Before I do that, I had a great time last night at the Flyer Red Dinner. It was a really moving event, and congratulations not only to all the inductees to the Hall of Fame, but also to everyone in athletics who helped put it on. It was a huge community-wide event for athletics with all the coaches and athletic staff involved, and they did an amazing job, as well as the advancement staff and the people who helped put on Conversations from Stritch. We're also working really hard last night, so thank you to everyone for putting so much effort into such a really powerful night. We also missed, because we were there, the Alpha Phi Social Work Honor Society induction ceremony last night here on the campus, and I've heard that was a really meaningful and great event yesterday. So congratulations to everyone in social work who put that on. Congratulations to faculty members Anne Gernan and Arvi Vitente, who were recently awarded with the 2025 National Academies of Practice Annual Induction Ceremony in Washington, D.C. The Emerging Interprofessional NAP is the acronym Member of the Year Award, was presented to Dr. Vitente, the program director of our physical therapy program, and Dr. Gernan is now the second Lewis University faculty member to be named a distinguished fellow by that organization. Those are huge honors, national honors in the health sciences and for interprofessional work. So it's really, really extraordinary distinctions by our faculty leaders. Dr. Gernan is also the Associate Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Congratulations to Dr. Kim Duras of the Psychology Department, who received a $170,000 grant to support students in the university's clinical mental health counseling program. The grant, which is sponsored by the Illinois Certification Board and the Illinois Department of Human Services, Division of Substance Use and Prevention and Recovery, helps our master's degree student tuition payments, scholarships, and stipends. So it allows more students to attend our program and to be trained in substance abuse prevention and related fields. It helps expand those number of trained addiction counselors that we have in the state of Illinois. So we're delighted to be participating in that. And congratulations to Dr. Duras, who did all the work of applying for and managing that grant. This is really cool. Student investigators Mahedi Hassan and Ava Lopez from the Computer Information Systems program at St. Augustine College won first place in oral presentations and second place in poster presentations at the 2025 Illinois Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation Symposium. Their research, funded by the National Science Foundation, focused on an AI-powered real-time weapon detection system for enhancing public safety. And I just happened to get to be there, and I didn't watch the presentation. I was there the day before, but they walked me through the presentation and the poster presentation, and it is really cool. And I'm not surprised they won first place, but I don't mean to make light of that. That was a really intense competition against many universities across the Chicagoland area who participate in this. So it was a great idea and really well executed and presented. So congratulations to those students. St. Augustine College at Lewis University Student Council and Student Success Center is hosting its third annual Family Day event for students and families. Friends and families are invited to join that day. It's April 12th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the St. Augustine Hall on the Argyle Street campus. There'll be children's activities, giveaways, and raffle prizes, as well as educational resources, such as resources focused on time management, financial planning, parenting as a student, and employee benefits, among others. So it's time for the final play of the year. We'll be talking about it for a few weeks leading up to it. Philip Lynch Theater presents Ride the Cyclone by Jacob Richmond and Brooke Maxwell. The musical follows the lives of 6 teenagers from a Canadian chamber choir whose lives are cut short in an accident aboard a roller coaster. Then, when they awake in limbo, a mechanical fortune teller invites each to tell their story of a life interrupted, offering a prize like no other, the chance to come to terms with their fates and possibly the chance of a return to life. I feel like I'm giving away the plot a little bit there, but I don't think it matters from what my understanding of this wonderful musical. And those of you who went to the COFAC Kickback got to see a little a snippet of it, a little preview of one of the musical numbers from the play. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a really cool idea for our play, and I'm really looking forward to the way our group executes it. The first weekend of performances are April 25th through 27th, and then it will also be from May 1st through 4th, and tickets are available in all of the usual locations. So that's looking very far. It's looking almost a month away. So you're going to give us a little update on the short term.
I'm going to give a little update on what, but let me, I want to add, also with what you said, just some thank yous that I probably should have said at the beginning, but I'll just say to two things that I mentioned that are big events. So last night's Flyer Red Dinner, the whole athletic staff and John Ashlew as leader really did an amazing job last night, but there's a lot of behind the scenes people. So both the athletic team, staff, coaches, etc. Advancement helps out with that. Our team that we are so dependent on here in this studio that does all the filming and the video, the prep video, as well as the night of, making sure that the people talking are seen on the screen. So just wanted to say thank you to all those different groups of people. And then for today's Day of Giving, which I think we'll talk about more in a little while, but I wanted to say a special thank you to everybody involved in that. That includes, of course, all the advancement team, but also, student groups and faculty who stop over, and of course, all of our donors. I was just looking at the numbers. We have raised $3,400 in the last half hour while we've walked over and started this show. So, that means, if we get 3,000 every half hour for the next, let's say up till 8 or 9 tonight, we'll be in really good shape, because we're in good shape right now. We're over $60,000, so we're well on our way. So a few things. Thursday, today, Day of Giving celebration we've talked about. We also have the lecture that I talked about tonight, but the Weisenthal Colloquium is happening this afternoon at 3 in AS 158. That's our big classroom. And then 4 Poets, 1 Mic, celebrating Women's History and Disability Awareness Month is also this afternoon. In the flight deck at 5, a study potluck with different organizations on campus. And then, as you see tonight, we have the lecture. Also tonight in De La Salle 250, we have a movie going on, a COFAC movie. If you haven't been over to De La Salle and gone up to 250 as a student or a faculty or a staff, you really should get over there. It's a beautifully renovated kind of movie theater experience that class can be taught in, but at night we're trying to show more movies. And then the last thing tonight is men's volleyball hosts Queens tonight. We had a big win last week that we were able to be at and enjoy over Ohio State. It went to 5 sets, so it was kind of a barn burner, but it was very exciting. Tomorrow in Lot Z, we have the log splitting. They donate those logs, all the kind of cutting down that they do throughout the year, and then they donate the logs to different organizations that can use firewood. So come on over. Brendan Field, Lewis Baseball is playing at University of Missouri, 12-3 in the Flyers Den. Tomorrow night, BSU is having a karaoke night. Esports Lounge, they're having a game night tomorrow night at 6. And then Saturday, men's lacrosse. And men's lacrosse has only lost 1 match this whole season, so they're having an incredible season. They're playing in the stadium against Seton Hill. Should be a really good match. Men's volleyball will host Queens again this weekend, so they're kind of doing a double header. And then baseball versus Missouri, St. Louis Sunday, of course, Mass. And then on Monday, we have a virtual understanding of race and racism and moving towards anti-racism at noon. You can get online and listen to that and participate in that. At 4 o'clock, we have a food truck coming onto campus from John's Rib House. Really appreciate that. Oh, I forgot, because I remembered to look it up. Freddy's is the other one that is sponsoring us today for Day of Giving. So really grateful to our 4 food sponsors. I want to say, especially to students, stop over, get a piece of pizza, get a cookie, make your $5 donation, be a part of Day of Giving. We will take all of that. And for some of you, you can give to something that you really care about for yourself, right? You can give to the Day of Giving. And a lot of these things are important for student life. We also have a management workshop next Monday. And then on Tuesday, baseball is playing Roosevelt. And we have in Convocation Hall a mariachi festival. I was inviting our guest, who you'll meet in a minute, to see if she would join one of the mariachis and put on one of those hats, do a little singing for us, but we'll see whether she does that. We also have decorating the tote next week and a pool basketball game next Tuesday night at 7 p.m., obviously in the pool. Next Wednesday during community hour, we have April extravaganza, cards for Luries. That means writing cards to children in the hospital, exploring creativity with the Accessibility Club, a foreign language minors fair, introduction to Latin studies, of course, Mass, which we have every week during that, and then a nacho sale, which I'm looking forward to. Not good for me, but I love nachos. And then Peace and Justice Studies is doing a community lunch. We have baseball next week, and then, of course, the Student Senate is meeting. So a few things about athletic travel next week. Friday track and field will be at WashU at the Invite down in St. Louis. Saturday, softball will be traveling to Drury. Softball's also having a really great season. Women's lacrosse will be in Saginaw Valley. That'll be a tough match. Saginaw is always good in almost all their sports. And then tennis will be at Rockhurst in Kansas City. On Saturday, women's lacrosse are continuing their Michigan trip up to Lawrence Tech. Softball will be at Missouri S&T, and tennis will be at William Jewell. Sunday, softball will be facing Drury, and tennis will be at Pratt Community College. So we wish good luck to all of our student athletes, both those that will be competing on campus, lacrosse and men's volleyball, and those that are competing away, softball, baseball, and women's lacrosse. So good luck to all of our athletes. So Chris, I'm really excited. I must say, mixed feelings about today's guest, which we'll get to.
Interesting.
Sad and joyful. But you're going to introduce our guest. Really excited to spend some time with her. So I'll let you do the introduction.
Okay, I look forward to doing that. Before I do that, there's so much going on that you just talked about that it's really, really exciting. And I'm really always so impressed with the list of things that we do at Community Hour. And I won't talk about any of them in particular, but it's such an incredible range. And then just about one thing about athletics, I didn't hear this last night at the event, but I was just looking it up this morning, and Seton Hill is number 4 in the country in lacrosse, and we are number 10.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a big match, and that's I think, the last preseason competition before lacrosse enters the GLVC competition. So that is a big one to put on your calendars along with everything else we talked about. Before I introduce our guest again, remember that you can email questions to the askus@lewisu.edu email address, and we will get the question into the conversation. Or if you're watching this as a recorded event on YouTube, you can still ask the question and we'll get it forwarded. So I'm really happy to be joined, or we are happy to be joined by Colleen Ahearn, who has worked at Lewis University for 7 years and currently serves as the Vice President for University Advancement. She's been with the LaSallian network of schools for over 15 years and has over 20 years of experience in leadership roles in the nonprofit sector. She is a certified fundraising executive and currently is leading our $50 million comprehensive campaign, Students at the Center for a Better World. Colleen, welcome. So glad you're here.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. When I say mixed feelings, that was kind of a teaser. It's not like I don't want Colleen to be here. It's that one of the things that we announced this week is that you're leaving Lewis, and that is very sad for me because I have grown to really appreciate you as a professional and a colleague and a friend. So, and we'll get to that in a little bit while.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say thanks so much for taking the time, especially on the Day of Giving, but it gives us some time to celebrate Day of Giving. So thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm like in awe by the setup here, and I'm like, oh, donors donated that. They donated that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
nice. Yeah,
it's cool.
that's certainly true. So President Livingston talked about Day of Giving already a little bit, but do you want to add anything to sort of what it is or how you perceive it?
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just stop there and I have some follow-ups about that.
Yeah, this is like my favorite day of the year because we raise money, we meaning the university, throughout the whole year. And Day of Giving to me is just celebrating the fact that we are a non-for-profit. We do great work. We want to bring some noise to the fact that we are a charity as well. And there are so many projects that people could give to. And for Day of Giving, it's been a tradition for us that we actually highlight a selective group of projects. You can give to anything you want, but we do this kind of competition across campus of people can recommend a project and vote on it, and just giving attention to certain projects that don't always get the attention throughout the year, but also just celebrating the fact that people give throughout the whole year, and we make some noise on campus, and our students really have gotten involved too, and thanking donors. And so to me, the Day of Giving is just really a celebration of philanthropy and the way that it impacts the university and our students.
Yeah, one thing I love about it is just reading the list of things that you could give to, because you get to learn so much about some of the things that are like kind of unique things that are going on campus from this wide range of different academic and athletics and student support areas on the campus, and it's nice to have that packaged that way.
Yeah. One of the things I love about Lewis as a charitable organization is whatever you care about. Like if you care about mental health, you can give to mental health and counseling. If you care about giving incarcerated individuals a second chance, you can give to prison education. If you care about accessibility, you can give to the Accessibility Club or student scholarships or access. I mean, it's overwhelming sometimes when talking to donors because there's so many choices, but it's also incredible all of the different areas that you can kind of support something you care about.
Yeah. And we just saw on the video screen, you just saw some of these things like prison education and others that people can give to. And it's, the list is amazing. I'm looking on my, iPad, as you say, so the radio, WLRA. And if you go to this website, what you're able to do is see project by project what their goal was. So I'm looking at WLRA because I'm in, this space. They wanted to raise about $3,000 is their goal, I think, and they've raised $2,431, so they're 81% along the way. 12 hours left to try to meet that goal, so we're only 20% more to go. It's exciting, but you can go through project by project, and if you see one that you really like, throw in your $25, your $50, your $100. Make a difference for those projects on campus. Yeah, it's a fun day, and I guess I do want to say, so they take over Stritch Hall. They've given, just for people on campus, if you are watching live, which makes it fun because Chris and I both, our offices are there, but it's oftentimes a relatively quiet, not an unbusy place because people are constantly coming in and out, but they're quiet people who sit in a chair and wait for the next time that they can come into their appointment. It's pretty, quiet. Yeah. Today, it is, as you said, raising the volume. So there's music going on, there's food, there's energy because students are coming over, faculty are coming over, there's lots of conversation. So it's a vibrant, fun, and we're going to get more to this, and it's an opportunity today to come over later this afternoon and thank you for all that you've done for Lewis, so which we want to make sure we do. So, raise a cookie with Colleen, so to speak, and enjoy a little food, but also thank her. And I say that especially to, student workers and colleagues, those on campus that have spent time with you. I did this job before, but I would love to hear you talk about, I don't know if everybody knows that, but I was a VP for advancement for 7 years before I became a president. But can you tell people, what is this job like? What do you actually do? Because when you get done with your telling your story, I'm going to tell, because you've heard me tell this, what my joke is about what I did. But I remember when I was a professor, anybody that I'd met or, even friends, they're like, oh yeah, he's a professor. I know what professors are. Then I became VP for advancement. They're like, what is that? Right? So what is that?
Yeah. So people usually don't go to school to be a fundraiser, right? So you kind of fall into it. But essentially, if I had to explain it in one word, my role is to partner with people across the Lewis community, internally and externally, to bring resources to the university so that a wide range of students from all backgrounds can have access to a high quality education and experience, so then they can go out to the world and transform it. Right. That's the phrase. So then, I mean, as far as what I do on a daily basis, I mean, it changes every day. I love my job. It's so fun. Yesterday I was working with aviation on an airplane donation and the logistics behind that. And the day before I was at lunch with a donor who wanted to start a new endowed scholarship, and we were trying to craft what that would look like for them, and spend a lot of time with you traveling and in the car and meeting with donors across the country, and really just a lot of listening to people across campus regarding what they need, what they're doing in their programs, because there are some incredible things. And one of the hard things about Lewis is you can't even remember all the great things that are happening. Exactly. And then it's just trying to connect the right people to one another so that we can bring resources out. Tuition doesn't cover the cost to run this place and to do all the things you mentioned in the intro. I was like, oh, donors support that, so these life transformative experiences are because of philanthropy. And since the Christian Brothers schools started in 1680, I think Kurt probably can check me on that, but we relied on philanthropy to exist in this mission. And so that's kind of how I describe to people what I do. Although people think I go out to eat a lot, which I do.
I'm going to say that. And I want to say, my joking response always, when my friends started asking me that, and it is a joke, but it has some seriousness because you've addressed it. I used to say, I eat and drink for a living, which is, it's not really true, but it's partly true, because when we break bread together, it's the place, I think, for many of us that we still in this day have our best conversations. There's a lot of other things that we do, and there's a lot of planning and trying to get the right papers signed and all the behind the scenes stuff. But when we sit down and break bread together, and I think fundraising is often about, as you said, you have to know all these amazing things that we do here. It's an incredible place. We have, and that there really aren't enough resources. Students can't afford to go to school here. We don't have all the equipment we want. We don't have all the resources we want. We don't have all, we have CapEx, capital things that we would like to improve. But when you sit down with somebody over a lunch or a dinner, you get this opportunity to listen to them. And most of the time, they have more resources than they need. That's why we're meeting with them. They have a love for Lewis. And so I think there's a lot of listening about what do you care about? And then some storytelling. Here's what's so great about this place that you went to school here. And how do we match those two things up, right? You love the place and you have some resources. What would it mean to you to give an opportunity for a scholarship for a student? I just want to say, I just looked at the number again, 77,000. So we're up in the last 15 minutes by about 4,000 again. So
awesome.
We're making big progress. So 77,000 towards a $100,000 goal. Yeah. If you're out there, let's do it in the next 15 minutes. Let's get to 80,000 in the next 15 minutes, right?
Can I just say that this is truly a day of giving? I mean, this week leading up to it, we've been telling people about it, but a lot of charities do this day of giving, and it truly is these $10 gifts, $25, $50 that all bring it together. So thanks to everybody who's listening
Yeah, giving. It's really exciting, and I love that you're monitoring it.
Yeah.
So Colleen, so we mentioned that you are stepping down in your position. So I wonder if you could share a little bit about that, how you went about that decision, and if you are willing to share what you're going to do next. We'd love to hear it.
You didn't tell me we were going to do
Oh, we don't have to do that.
I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
No, it's totally fine. It just makes me sad. So it was such a hard decision, mainly because of all the great people at Lewis, and because I do feel like Lewis does incredible work. And I just, you both have been great mentors to me. And as I talk about my future and where I want to be in my career, I have this desire to kind of be in the social sector, and I'm going to be moving to the Northern Illinois Food Bank. which is part of Feeding America, as their chief philanthropy officer. And Northern Illinois Food Bank serves 13 counties in Illinois, including Will County. There's a center in Joliet, so many people at Lewis know about it. And I'll have an opportunity to partner with many of their internal and external people to bring resources to food insecurity within Illinois and try to make a difference in that way. Food insecurity on campuses and colleges is really a big deal. I learned that at Lewis. We have a food pantry here, and I really gravitated towards that. And so I'm gonna learn a lot. It's gonna be a different world, but I also feel like Lewis has so many faculty and staff and people, including yourself, Chris, and Dave, that are involved in the fundraising process, that we're really in a good place. And so I'm excited about the new chapter. I'm nervous. I'm grateful, and there's like a lot of emotions. So,
could you talk a little bit about your kind of growth as a professional here at Lewis? I think for some of the staff and so again, most people don't watch it live.
Yeah.
They'll watch it later.
Okay.
And I think I guess I also want to talk about our donors. I have two kind of questions, but we'll get to the second one later, because again, people might want to watch this, because we'll send out to people like in our social media, like, this was our guest this week, and then people click on it and they watch it later. So could you talk a little bit about, you were in the kind of number 2 role, working with Luigi Amendola, who was our former vice president for advancement, and then in this role. So maybe you could talk, because I think for our employees, there's value in hearing, like, how does one grow in a position, and then what does that mean in terms of, you are moving on and you're going to do some great work somewhere else, but I'm interested in that kind of, you started with the LaSallians, you stayed with the LaSallians, but moved to another institution, and then while you were here, you grew professionally. So maybe you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I met Luigi, my previous supervisor, who, when I was at San Miguel School of Chicago, as their executive director, because I wanted to partner with Lewis, and he was like the entryway for that. And he remembered me, I guess. So when they had a position open for executive director of alumni and annual giving, he had called and said, "Were you interested in this?" I was like, "No, I love San Miguel," and then I came.
Say what San Miguel is.
So San Miguel is a LaSallian mission school on the south side of Chicago that does middle school intervention and follows students through high school and into college, with a community center that does ESL citizenship classes and whatnot, delivery of food and things like that as well. And we had Lewis students that would come visit San Miguel and do student teaching. They were social workers, and every time I met somebody from Lewis, I was like, these are just good people. Everybody I met from Lewis, an alum or people, I remember John Kilpatrick helped us with a marketing video, and the staff and faculty and everybody at Lewis was willing to help out San Miguel. I'm still on the board of trustees at San Miguel now, so there's still that connection. But when I came to Lewis, I was going from a place where we had a fundraising shop that was like 2 people and a couple $1 million a year we had to raise, and it was literally knocking on doors, and if somebody didn't give, you were not surviving. You weren't paying teachers. It was a different kind of fundraising. And then the opportunity to come to Lewis but still be involved in San Miguel led me to be a part of a bigger organization and figure out, okay, how do we tell the same story and really bring resources? I remember, Dave, you and I talked when I first came here of like, so you understand the importance of higher education too and how this is. I said, yeah, because the students that are graduating Lewis are the ones who are going out and working at the San Miguels and who are working at the food banks and who are doing this incredible work as nurses and pilots and transforming the world. And so as I learned more about the Lewis mission, I got excited about that. Luigi kind of coached me in the bigger picture of how it works at higher ed. And then I brought some of my own flair to it too, that I had a higher ed background. But I would say the thing that was nice is, Luigi was direct with me. Here are things to work on, here's what to do. And I took the coaching, and I also I think was curious. And I see this, the people at Lewis who grow professionally here, a lot of times it's because they're curious about what's going on at the university in areas outside of their own, and they show up to things they don't have to, and they participate in the mission in a way that it's not on your job description. And then people notice that, and you all have been, when Luigi left and you gave me the opportunity to be an interim, that was like a 9-month interview. I remember we were in Florida traveling, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the car with my boss who hasn't hired me yet for like 3 hours. And we got to know one another, but I think through it all, it's just been a place where I could be myself and also be challenged and just learn about all different things. I mean, I didn't even know about airplanes or just stuff like that. And I think being curious and knowing that if you, I said this at the Women in Leadership Forum earlier this week, is like, be on people's team. Be curious about what leadership is trying to do with the organization and try to understand that most people are coming from a good place and want Lewis to do well and figure out how you can help with that. So. And then, then I went into the role of Vice President of Advancement. I've been here for 4 years, and I am surrounded by incredibly hardworking, passionate team. Kathleen, Kristen, I would name them all, but they're all doing Day of Giving right now. And also we have a wonderful Office of Sponsored Programs that does great things for the university that Dr. Sint and Bill Chura and them lead, and many faculty and staff get involved with. So it's in a way, Lewis and everybody involved has made my job easier because they all help with fundraising, admissions and things like that too. So
what would you say to our donors? I mean, let's say somebody's, and some of them they'll go to it and they'll move that little dot over and watch just a part of this. They might skip our intro, but they want to see you. For our donors that might watch this later, because many of them are on social media and they know you because you work directly with them. So what is that, I don't know, what do you want to say to kind of the donors you've worked with as a kind of, I guess, goodbye? You won't get to talk to all of them, so as an opportunity to say thanks and goodbye and whatever.
Yeah, well, thanks and goodbye. No, but thanks and goodbye. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. We have a lot of alumni at Lewis, and there's 12 people that work in the alumni office. And I've never encountered an alum or donor that has been really mean, and you can't. But I would just want to say thank you. And the gifts that you're making make an incredible impact. When I walk across campus and I see a student who just got a scholarship, or see the encounter, or see a student come back from a retreat or study abroad, it's like donors, and you guys just make such an incredible impact. And not just on that one student, but the hundreds and thousands of people that they kind of touch when they leave Lewis. And so I really want to say, please keep giving. Please keep giving more, because if there's any time to do it, it's needed. It's now. And thank you for your support and encouragement.
I want to ask about, I don't know quite how to ask this question, but connecting, it means something to me that you're still on the board of San Miguel and that you still stay connected to the LaSallian tradition. No pressure, you can, it's up to you to stay on the board. Or maybe you'll be connected with Lewis in some way in the future. But I'm curious, what the through line is. We didn't talk about why you were working at San Miguel in the first place, and then what do you connect with in the, and then there's some kind of obvious connections between the food bank and the mission of the Christian Brothers. And I'm just wondering what connections you see in the decisions you've made in your career about what to work on, what to focus your time on.
Somebody asked me that earlier this week at this leadership, how did you set goals? And it's never oh, I want to be a vice president of advancement, or I want to be this. I mean, it's more what do I want to be doing? And I want to be around good people who are doing good work. And that's what I was kind of drew me to the LaSallian mission. When I was in St. Louis, where I grew up, De La Salle Middle School, which is similar to San Miguel, they needed somebody to come in and do kind of entry-level fundraising, volunteer stuff, and that's when I met the LaSalle mission. And we were having a lot of success in St. Louis. I was there for like 3 years, and then I got this call from San Miguel and Chicago, and they said, would you be interested in coming? Again, it was like a no, like, I don't think this is the time. And I came to visit, and this school was $1 million in debt, no money in the bank, relied entirely on fundraising, and was like, we need somebody to help with fundraising. So I was like, oh, that sounds perfect for me. You know, I like a good challenge. But again, I met the people there, and it was good people who, and this is from mainly first generation immigrants who are trying to get an education, doing, you know, the best they can. And it was like, gosh, if this can be done, why can't we be the ones to do it? You know, and it's really been that fuel of the mission. I feel like the story of St. John Baptist de La Salle of kind of, we have this encounter statue, you know, of going over this threshold and saying, I'm going to leave this certain life to do this other good work. It's like in every decision, it's like, is there good people? Is this good work? Can I personally, with my skill set, do that job well and bring it, you know? And then that's kind of led me to say, like, what is the path? And I, you know, the food bank was started by a Franciscan nun in Wheaton, Illinois. There really is a faith component to it too. And I didn't realize this probably until I was at Lewis. Like, I've always been a part of organizations that had a strong faith background. And I think I didn't realize how in your day-to-day life that really makes an impact on your work. And it could be any faith background. You know, it's just the fact that we share that we're in this, we believe in something greater and we're trying to do something different. And so, it was just recently that I joined the San Miguel board. So just a few months ago, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can still be a part of the LaSalle mission. And I know people say this when they leave Lewis, I'll be around. But I really think I'll show up to things, hopefully, unless you guys are sick of me. But I think what I'm most proud of, I think that the department's in a really good place. I mean, the reason the theme for today is turn up the volume is because we're in our 4th year of a 5-year campaign, and we're like, let's turn up the volume and end this on a good note. It's a $50 million campaign, and Lewis is, again, has incredible things happening. So I really feel like the next person, it can take it to a different level, maybe bring some things to the position that, you know, are different skill sets than me, and work with the two of you and the Lewis leadership to kind of say, what more can we do? Yeah. That's
great. Well, thank you so much for all your service to Lewis, and it's been really wonderful working with you. And we started on the same day, I think.
Yeah, we were.
So that makes, it's a little special sadness.
Wow.
Been my partner through the whole thing.
Remembered that.
Yeah. Very close. I remember thinking, that guy's really funny. I told you, that guy's really funny. But I also, when I worked at San Miguel, I came to your inauguration. Was it like your? And I didn't even see myself as somebody that would be in higher ed, because I didn't know that would. But I listened to you and your vision for Lewis, and so I was like, oh, I could work with that guy.
Oh, that's cool.
And I wasn't even thinking that I was going to even be a part of Lewis at that time. It was just a thought that popped in my head. So,
well,
thank you guys.
We have been so fortunate. I've been incredibly fortunate to have you. I think people understand, having listened to Colleen talk about the role. You know, it's a very actually, these two people are, you know, I work with a lot of people, but probably spend more time with the two of you than anybody else in the leadership team. And as you said, you know, you and I will go down to Florida once a year and run across Alligator Alley and see, you know, 15 donors in 3 days and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what I think people really appreciate about you, and that I really appreciate in a fundraiser, and I not only have worked with a lot of fundraisers, but people ask me for money. You know, I mean, and we're all in that situation. But and there are fundraisers that I like and fundraisers that I really don't like, because some of them, you know, they have a different attitude. And I think one of the many things that people have come to appreciate about you is your authenticity. Like, you actually, this through line question. You know, you genuinely want your work to be meaningful. You genuinely care about the mission of the place. Doesn't matter whether it's San Miguel or here or the food bank. And I think that is that comes across, and people actually, people will say in our business, people give to people. Oh. They give for mission, but people give to people, and so you will be greatly missed. We will find another great person, just like we did after Luigi. Luigi was awesome as well. But we will miss you, and I know our donors will miss that opportunity to hear your passion for our students and our colleagues, and what it means for the world, because I think you're 100% right. We impact the world in many ways, but we have 60,000 alumni out there. Let's say 40,000 of them are still working. 40,000 of them are doing 40 hours of work to make this world a better place. And that's a lot of hours that goes into the world in a really positive way. And you've done a great job of making that more possible for more students because of your work and your ability to convince our alumni and our friends to give back to this great mission. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for everything. And John and everybody who's behind
All right, so
do you want to do a little total update before you?
Yeah. Let me get back to this. I got to go to I was looking at the script, but now I got to go back to the page up. All right, I got to hit the refresh button. It hasn't changed. 77882. So we're at almost 78,000.
That's
So
great.
22,000 to go. It's a good number. So I need to say my goodbye to all of you on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us today, or whatever day you watch this. We're grateful for all that you do for Lewis out there, both those colleagues that are here. We're grateful for our students and all of our alumni and friends. Thank you for all that Colleen has done, and what's on the screen right now is our Day of Giving. So let's go to the Day of Giving website, or if you're on campus, walk on over. You can grab somebody's iPad and you can give there, or write a check. So please stop by, congratulate Colleen and thank her, get a piece of pizza or a cookie and or a chicken finger. I don't even know what else is there. There's lots of food there is the point. Sure. Enjoy the week, and many blessings to you and all those that you love.